The colony of Veros 9 had been built on dust and stubborn dreams. Far from Earth, far from the main trade routes, it was not a place people came to for comfort. They came here for opportunity or for silence or to disappear. The land was dry, the air thin, and the sky burned red at dusk like fire across the horizon. But Veros 9 had something no other colony did. The statue. It had been discovered 20 years earlier, half buried in the canyon cliffs to the west of the settlement. At first, people thought it was a natural rock formation. Then the archaeologists uncovered its face and the galaxy changed. It was humanoid but not human. Its features were sharp, elegant, and strange, like a dream-given form. Its eyes were shut, its lips calm, its entire form carved from some unknown stone that shimmered faintly in the dark. Most scientists agreed it was at least 1,000 years old. Some said older. Nobody knew who built it or why it stood alone in the canyon untouched by time. The locals began to call it the Sleeper. For some, it was a relic to be studied. For others, it was sacred. Pilgrims from nearby systems visited to bow before it, leaving offerings of crystals or flowers at its feet. A research station was built around it, guarded day and night, its surface scanned endlessly by drones. But the statue never changed. For 1,000 years, it had been nothing more than stone, until Marcus Hale kissed it. Marcus was not a scientist. He was an engineer, assigned to the colony's power grid. He was 27, restless, and had the kind of humor that annoyed half the people he met and charmed the other half. To him, the statue was just another mystery in a galaxy already full of mysteries. People act like it's going to get up and walk one day, he told his friends as they sat in the dusty canteen one night. If it hasn't moved in 1,000 years, it's not going anywhere now. His friends laughed. The way people laugh when they're half daring someone to take their words further. You wouldn't dare touch it, one of them, Lena said. She was a medic, serious most of the time, but her smile dared him. Touch it? Marcus grinned. I'll do more than that. I'll give the alien a kiss. The table erupted with laughter. Someone told him not to joke like that the guards would never allow it. But Marcus's grin only widened. A week later, on a late shift when the research station was quiet, Marcus found himself standing before the statue. He had convinced Lena and another friend, Joran, to come with him. The night was cold, the canyon wind whispering across the sand. Floodlights shone on the figure, highlighting every smooth line of its face. The stone glowed faintly under the artificial light, giving it an almost living presence. Lena's voice trembled. We shouldn't be here. Joran chuckled nervously. This is insane. The guards will throw us out if they catch us. That's why we don't get caught, Marcus whispered. His heart was racing, but his grin never left. He stepped closer, boots crunching against the stone platform. The statue loomed above him, its face calm, its eyes closed as if lost in dreams. Marcus tilted his head, studying the lips carved with such precision that they almost seemed real. Well, he said quietly, here goes nothing. Lena gasped. Joran muttered a curse. Marcus leaned forward, pressed a quick, mocking kiss against the cold stone lips. And the world shattered. The ground trembled beneath their feet. The floodlights flickered, then flared brighter. A sound like cracking ice echoed through the canyon. Marcus stumbled back, eyes wide. What the hell? The statue's face split, not in pieces, but in light. Thin, glowing lines spread from its lips, racing up its cheeks, across its forehead, down its neck. The entire form shone like a network of burning veins beneath stone skin. The eyes opened, not with a blink, but with a sudden flash of brilliance. 2 orbs of molten gold stared down at the 3 humans, unblinking, alive. Lena screamed. Joran froze in place. Marcus could not move. His heart stopped. His mouth went dry. The statue moved. Slowly, deliberately, its stone lips parted. A voice came, not from its mouth, but from everywhere. From the ground, the air, the very sky above. It was deep, layered, and ancient. You ruined your species. The words cut through the canyon like thunder. The floodlights shattered. Alarms in the research station blared. Guards shouted in the distance. Marcus stumbled back, his legs barely holding him. His mind refused to understand what he had just heard. What do you mean? He whispered. The glowing eyes locked onto him. For a moment, he felt as though his entire life had been laid bare. Every choice, every mistake, every thought. He felt naked before that gaze, as though the universe itself were judging him. The statue's voice rolled again, Softer this time, but no less terrifying. The moment you touched me, the cycle begins again. Humanity stands at the threshold. And because of you, the choice comes sooner. Marcus's breath caught. He wanted to run, but his body refused to move. His friends pulled at his arms, screaming for him to leave. But the statue was not finished. Tell them, it said, its voice resonating with something beyond comprehension. Tell your species their time is measured in days, not centuries. Tell them they have one chance to prove their worth. Or face the end. And then, as suddenly as it had awakened, the statue froze again. The light dimmed. Its eyes shut. Its face returned to stone. The canyon fell silent except for the ringing in Marcus's ears. The guards arrived minutes later. They found Marcus and his friends staring in shock at the statue, their faces pale. The scientists rushed in behind them, their scanners going wild with readings they could not explain. Nobody laughed at Marcus's joke anymore. The story spread across Veyros 9 within hours. By the next day it reached Earth. The next morning the colony was not the same. The people of Veyros 9 had lived with the statue for 20 years. They had eaten meals beside it, joked about it, built their homes in its shadow. It had been a mystery, but a silent one. Something to argue about during long nights, but never something to fear. Now the air was different. The guards walked with tight jaws and nervous eyes. The scientists spoke in whispers, checking and rechecking their data. Pilgrims who had once prayed peacefully now screamed warnings, calling the awakening a curse. Everyone wanted to know one thing. Why did the statue speak, and why to Marcus Hale? Marcus sat in an interrogation room, his hands clenched together on the metal table. Across from him sat Commander Reese, head of security, a tall man with sharp gray eyes. "You're telling me," Reese said slowly, "that you kissed the statue, and that made it wake up?" Marcus winced. "Yeah, I know how it sounds. It sounds like a drunken prank. I wasn't drunk," Marcus muttered. Then quieter. "Just stupid." Beside him, Lena sat with her arms crossed, still pale from the night before. Joran paced the room, shaking his head. "You didn't imagine it," Reese continued. Half the station heard the words. "The scans confirmed energy bursts, massive ones. That thing isn't just stone, it's something else." Marcus finally raised his eyes. "It called me out, Commander. It said humanity ruined itself. It said the choice comes sooner because of me." Reese's jaw tightened. He wanted to dismiss it. Marcus could see the disbelief fighting in the man's eyes. But the commander had heard the voice too. He had no argument. "What does it mean?" Lena asked softly. Nobody answered. That night, Marcus could not sleep. He kept hearing the words again and again. "You ruined your species." He stared at the ceiling of his quarters, his chest heavy. He thought of Earth, of crowded cities, of news broadcasts filled with war, of governments arguing over colonies while people starved. He thought of the machines he worked with every day, machines built by humans who never stopped pushing forward, even when they didn't think about the cost. Was the statue right? Had humanity already doomed itself? At midnight, the dreams began. Marcus found himself standing in a place that was not real. The ground was endless glass reflecting stars above. A golden light burned in the distance, pulsing like a heart. The statue stood before him alive, its eyes glowing. Marcus staggered back. No, this isn't real. I'm dreaming. You are seeing what I show you," the voice echoed in his mind. "I am the Sentinel. I was left behind by the Clithari, the ones who came before. My duty is to judge and to warn. You woke me, human, and now you must listen." Marcus's throat was dry. "Why me? I didn't mean to." "It does not matter. 1,000 years I have slept, waiting, watching, waiting for humanity to reach the threshold. You crossed it sooner than expected, and now the choice must be made." The light shifted. The glass ground beneath Marcus cracked, opening into visions. He saw Earth cities burned, oceans rose, machines built to serve turned on their masters. Humans fought humans in endless wars driven by greed and fear. He saw billions dead, the sky black with smoke. "No," Marcus whispered. "This can't be real. This is one path," the Sentinel said. "The path most likely. The path your kind always walks. Power without wisdom, ambition without unity." The visions shifted again. Now he saw something different. He saw humans standing side by side, their hands joined with strangers. Not only humans, but beings with scales, wings, and strange, luminous eyes. He saw ships of many kinds flying together. He saw laughter, art, and sacrifice. He saw hope stretching across the stars. Marcus stared, his heart pounding. "That's us too?" "It could be," the sentinel answered. "If your kind chooses. But you are close to the edge. Too close. The smallest spark will decide." Marcus swallowed hard. "And if we fail?" The sentinel's golden eyes burned brighter. "Then your species will be erased. Not by me alone. The galaxy will see to it. You are more dangerous than you know." Marcus woke with a cry, sweat dripping from his face. The dream felt too real, the images still burning in his eyes. He stumbled to the sink, splashing water on his face. His reflection looked pale, older somehow. He could not stop hearing the words. "Your species will be erased." The next morning, the research station buzzed with chaos. Reports were flying to Earth and every colony. Politicians demanded answers. Religious leaders declared miracles. Scientists argued over data, and everywhere Marcus went, eyes followed him. "That's him," people whispered. "The one who kissed it. The one it chose." He wanted to shout that he hadn't been chosen, that it had been a joke, but no one listened. The story had already spread across the stars. Later that day, Lena found him outside the station, sitting on a crate and staring at the canyon walls. "You look terrible," she said gently. "Thanks," Marcus muttered. She sat beside him. For a while they said nothing. The canyon wind howled softly. Finally, Marcus whispered, "It showed me things, Lena. A future where we destroy ourselves. A future where we survive." It said the choice is close. That if we fail, we're done. Lena's face paled. "You mean extinction?" He nodded. She swallowed, her voice shaking. "And it told you this because you kissed it?" Marcus gave a bitter laugh. "Yeah, I guess that's my curse. I'm the idiot who woke the universe's alarm clock." That evening, the sentinel spoke again, not just to Marcus, but to everyone. Its voice boomed across the colony, echoing through every speaker, every comms channel, even into people's dreams, humans. The time of judgment has come. Your species stands on the edge. You must prove your worth, or fall. Panic spread like wildfire. Some people dropped to their knees in prayer. Others shouted in anger, demanding the statue be destroyed. Military officers scrambled, unsure if they faced a threat they could even fight. The galaxy had always been big and quiet to most humans. Stars burned, colonies spread, ships carried goods from one system to another. Life was hard, but it was familiar. People believed they were mostly alone, except for rumors of ancient ruins like the statue on Veros 9. That illusion ended the day the Sentinel spoke. Within a week, the message was everywhere. Not just in human space, alien civilizations that had hidden in the shadows for centuries revealed themselves. They had been listening, waiting, watching humanity grow. The awakening of the Sentinel was a signal not just to humans, but to all of them. For the first time, Earth learned the truth. The galaxy was crowded. And not everyone was pleased to see humans step into the light. Marcus Hale stood in the center of a vast chamber unlike anything he had ever seen. It was built inside the research station, but the walls shimmered with alien technology, forming a sphere of light and shadow. Around him, figures gathered. Some were human, others not. He saw beings with long insect-like limbs covered in dark armor. He saw tall, slender shapes with glowing eyes and translucent skin. He saw squat reptilian creatures that hissed when they moved. Dozens of races, each older than humanity, each staring at him with suspicion or open hostility. A council had formed. A trial had begun. At the very top of the chamber, the Sentinel's form hovered like a phantom. It was no longer just stone. Its glowing eyes filled the space, its voice echoing through every mind. "Humanity has awakened me. Now they must prove themselves before those who came before." Marcus's throat was dry. He wanted to run. He wanted to disappear back into the quiet life he had before, but he could not. Everyone looked at him. The fool who kissed the statue, the one who triggered the awakening. Commander Reese leaned close and whispered, "You speak for us now, Hale. Like it or not." Marcus froze. "Me? Why me?" "Because it chose you." Reese's eyes were hard. "And because nobody else has its attention." Marcus swallowed. His stomach twisted. He was an engineer, not a diplomat. He fixed power grids, he patched systems. He was no leader, but he had no choice. The trial began. An insect-like alien named Kyrath spoke first. Its voice was sharp, clicking. Humans spread like disease. Already you claim worlds that are not yours. You fight each other, destroy your own planet, and threaten the stars with your weapons. You are reckless children, not worthy of the future. The chamber filled with murmurs of agreement. Many aliens nodded or hissed in approval. Marcus's heart pounded. He stepped forward, forcing his voice to stay steady. Yeah, we fight. Yeah, we make mistakes, but we're still here. We survive no matter what's thrown at us. Doesn't that mean something? The reptilian alien hissed. Survival is not enough. Even vermin survive. Laughter rippled through the chamber. Marcus's face burned. Then another voice spoke, deeper and calmer. A tall being with glowing eyes. Let us test them. Words are air. We will see what they are. The sentinel's voice filled the chamber. Agreed, humanity will face trials. Not of strength alone, but of spirit. If they pass, they may live. If they fail, their time ends. The first test began that very day. Marcus and a group of humans were taken into a simulation chamber, a vast dome where the walls shimmered like liquid light. Suddenly, they were no longer inside a station but standing in the ruins of a burning city. Buildings collapsed. Fire filled the sky and the screams of people echoed everywhere. This is not real, Reese whispered beside him. But it feels real, the sentinel's voice thundered. Show us how you respond when your world burns. Show us if you protect only yourselves or if you can stand together. Marcus's instinct screamed at him to run, but then he saw simulated people trapped under rubble calling for help. A child crying, a woman pinned beneath broken metal. He did not think. He moved. Come on, Marcus shouted, rushing toward the nearest survivor. Reese and others followed. They pulled beams, lifted rubble, carried strangers to safety. It was chaos, fire and smoke everywhere, the ground shaking. Some humans panicked, trying to escape the simulation. Others fought to save every life they could. When the test ended, the fires vanished. The survivors faded like ghosts. The chamber was silent again. The aliens whispered among themselves. Some seemed surprised. Kyrath hissed, they saved the weak, but they also abandoned many. Their hearts are divided. Marcus stepped forward, sweat running down his face. We couldn't save everyone, but we tried. That's who we are. We try, even when it's impossible. The glowing-eyed alien tilted its head as if considering. The second test came days later. This time, Marcus and his team were placed in a vast desert. No water, no food, only endless sand. Days passed in the simulation, the sun burning their skin. People grew weak. Some wanted to fight each other for the little they had. Marcus forced himself to keep them together. He shared what little they found, kept people moving, pushed them not to give up. On the seventh simulated day, when half of them could barely walk, they reached an oasis. Water, shade, safety. The simulation ended. The desert vanished again, the aliens whispered. Some nodded in approval. Others scoffed. The sentinel spoke. You show endurance. But is it endurance for unity or for survival alone? That choice will define you. Marcus felt the weight of every eye on him. He felt like he carried not just his own life, but all of humanity's. The third test came in the form of a choice. Marcus stood in the chamber. Before him, two visions appeared. In one, he saw Earth, his home, his people. In the other, he saw a group of alien children, trapped in a collapsing station. The sentinel's voice was cold. You may save one. Earth or the strangers, choose. Marcus's heart stopped. It was a cruel test, an impossible one. He thought of Earth, of his family, of the billions of humans who looked to the stars with hope. But then he looked at the alien children, their eyes wide with fear. Slowly, Marcus whispered, we save both, or we fail both. That's the only answer. The sentinel's golden eyes flared. The vision shattered. Silence filled the chamber. The aliens stirred. Some hissed in disapproval. Others looked shocked. Finally, the glowing-eyed alien spoke. He refused to choose between his kind and strangers. He chose to defy the test itself. The sentinel was silent for a long time. Then it said, perhaps, there is more to them than I expected. When the trial paused for the day, Marcus collapsed into his bunk, exhausted. His hands shook. His throat was raw. Lena sat beside him, her eyes soft. You did good today. I don't feel like it, Marcus muttered. Every time it feels like we're about to lose everything. One wrong move and we're finished. She touched his shoulder gently. Maybe that's the point. Maybe they need to see how hard it is for us and that we still try. Marcus stared at the ceiling. He remembered the Sentinel's words. You ruined your species. Maybe that was true, but maybe, just maybe, they could still fix it. For the first time, he felt a spark of something inside him. Not confidence, not hope, something stranger. Defiance. The trial continued, but Marcus could feel a shift. The aliens were watching humans with greater intensity, and the Sentinel's golden eyes seemed to burn deeper into their minds. Every test became harder than the last, each designed to push them to the limits of endurance, morality, and cooperation. Marcus had learned something. The Sentinel was not just judging humans, it was testing human spirit itself. And spirit, Marcus realized, was unpredictable. The first test of the day was a battle, not with weapons, but with strategy. The humans were placed on a simulation battlefield surrounded by alien forces. The task was simple in words but impossible in practice. Defend a small group of civilians from waves of attacking drones. Failure meant the civilians would die, and the Sentinel would see it as humanity's weakness. Marcus's team huddled together. His hands shook, but he forced his voice steady. Listen, we stick together. Every life matters. Don't panic. We can do this, the drones attacked. They came in waves, fast and relentless. Humans fell back, blocked paths, carried the simulated civilians through fire and debris. Every second was a test of endurance, speed, and trust. Marcus noticed some humans faltering, turning to run or ignoring the civilians. He barked orders, pulled people back, encouraged them. No one gets left behind. Hours passed. Sweat poured. Their bodies ached. Some collapsed from exhaustion, but Marcus refused to let them give up. Finally, the last drone fell. The civilians survived. The Sentinel's eyes glowed brighter. Clever, but cleverness alone is not enough. Compassion must be tested as well. Marcus realized the test was far from over. The second test came immediately after. This time, Marcus and his group were in a devastated colony on a simulation planet. Fires raged, buildings collapsed, and the screams of simulated people filled the air. But unlike before, there were no instructions. No clear goal. They had to figure it out themselves. Marcus looked around. He could see humans panicking, arguing, some even turning against one another to save themselves first. He felt his chest tighten. This isn't just about saving people, he muttered. It's about showing who we are. He began organizing. He divided the humans into small teams, each tasked with rescuing survivors, clearing rubble, and helping the injured. Lena stayed with him, carrying supplies and calming the panicked. Hours passed. The heat burned, smoke choked, but they pushed on. The Sentinel's voice came again, softer now. You are proving resilience. But what of wisdom? What of restraint? Marcus understood. Strength alone was not enough. Humans had to think, act together, and care for more than themselves. Then came the ultimate test. Marcus was placed alone in a chamber. The walls faded, leaving him in a vast void. Before him appeared two visions larger than life. One of Earth, beautiful and thriving, its people living their daily lives, unaware of the coming threat. The other was a distant alien colony, under attack, children and families screaming as their buildings collapsed. The Sentinel's voice was everywhere. Choose, human. Which will you save? Your own kind or the strangers? Marcus froze. His heart pounded. It was the same test as before, but more personal. The Sentinel wanted to see what he valued most. He thought of Earth, of the billions of humans depending on their choices. He thought of the alien children, innocent and helpless, doomed if he chose wrongly. And then he realized something. The Sentinel's tests were designed to make humans fail, to choose selfishly or panic or flee. But humans were different. Humans had something no alien race did: imagination, defiance, and hope. Marcus stepped forward. I won't choose, he whispered. I'll save both. The visions flared. Walls of fire and stone collapsed. The Sentinel's voice boomed, angered and confused. Impossible. You cannot save both. That is not allowed. One must die. Marcus stood his ground. Then I defy your rules. If you want to judge humanity, judge all of us, not just one. We fight together. We survived together. That's who we are. There was silence. The Sentinel's golden eyes blinked slowly. Never before had a human spoken like this. Suddenly, the simulation shifted. Marcus was no longer in the void. He found himself standing outside the alien colony that had been under attack. Smoke filled the air. Buildings half collapsed. Alien families ran for their lives. Marcus didn't hesitate. He led a rescue mission, pulling debris, guiding the frightened aliens to safety and refusing to leave anyone behind. Lena and other humans joined him, working without pause. Hours passed, but no matter how exhausted they became, Marcus refused to stop. Every alien life saved was a defiance against the Sentinel's expectations. The Alien Council watched in awe. Kyrath hissed softly. They risk everything, not for themselves, but for strangers. The tall, glowing-eyed alien whispered, They are unpredictable. Perhaps there is hope in them. The Sentinel's golden eyes focused on Marcus. You test me, human. You break the rules of my judgment. Marcus wiped blood from a scraped arm, exhaustion burning in his muscles. Maybe your rules are wrong. Maybe we're the kind of species that can make the impossible happen. You're judging us by fear. I judge by hope. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Sentinel hesitated. Its golden light dimmed, then flared again, softer this time. Perhaps your species is not lost. Perhaps there is something worth saving. But the path ahead is fragile. One misstep and it ends. Marcus collapsed onto the ground, gasping. Lena helped him up. Around them, the aliens whispered among themselves, amazed. Humans had defied expectation, not by brute strength, but by unity, courage, and compassion. The Sentinel remained silent for a long moment. Then it spoke, softer, almost contemplative. Go, return to your people. You have proven potential. But the trial is not over. You will be watched, and you will face challenges again. Do not make me awaken fully. Do not make me question again. Marcus looked up at the golden eyes, still glowing faintly. We won't, he said, though he knew it might not be true. Humanity was messy, chaotic, unpredictable, but maybe that was their greatest strength. As he returned to the colony, the humans whispered among themselves. Marcus was no longer just the man who kissed the statue. He had become something more, a symbol of defiance, courage, and the hope that humanity might survive even the impossible. Yet Marcus knew the truth. The Sentinel's warning had not ended. Humanity's trials were far from over, and somewhere in the galaxy, other eyes were watching, ready to judge their every step. But for now, Marcus allowed himself a moment of quiet pride. They had survived the tests. They had shown the galaxy that humans were not just reckless, not just dangerous, but capable of something extraordinary. The chamber was silent. Even the stars outside seemed to hold their breath. Marcus Hale stood at the center, surrounded by humans and aliens alike. The Sentinel hovered above, its golden eyes brighter than ever. The Council of Alien Races watched, their expressions unreadable. For weeks, humanity had endured tests, moral, physical, strategic, and emotional. They had rescued lives, faced impossible choices, and risked everything for strangers. Yet none of that had guaranteed anything. The Sentinel's judgment had remained shrouded in mystery, its silence deafening. Marcus could feel it pressing on him now, like a weight he could not escape. He looked at the human standing beside him, exhausted, bruised, fearful, but resolute. Lena's hand brushed his shoulder, a quiet reminder that they were not alone. The Sentinel's voice finally broke the silence. Humanity, it said, and the words rolled through every mind in the chamber. You have endured what I could not have imagined. You faced trials designed to expose weakness, yet you rose beyond them. You have proven resilience, creativity, and compassion. You are reckless, but unique. A ripple of tension ran through the aliens. Some hissed in disbelief. Some nodded slowly. Even Marcus felt his knees weaken. Your species is dangerous. Your greed, your wars, your ambition. They have the power to destroy entire worlds. Yet within you I see something that no other civilization has ever shown. The ability to defy expectations, to rise from chaos, to value more than just survival. Perhaps in that lies your hope. Marcus swallowed hard. So, that's it? We pass? The Sentinel's golden light dimmed slightly, flickering like a dying star. You are not absolved. The galaxy will continue to watch. Your choices will be tested again, in ways you cannot yet imagine. But for now, I do not see the need to end your kind. He felt a mixture of relief and dread. Relief because humanity had survived. Dread because he knew the tests were far from over. "You have one warning," the sentinel continued. "Do not make me awaken fully. Do not make me question again. The line between survival and destruction is thin. Your species teeters on it every day." Marcus's mind raced. Humanity had been given a second chance, but they would be judged continuously. Every action, every failure, every success would matter. "But," the sentinel said, its voice softening, almost contemplative, "there is potential. If your species chooses wisely, you may rise among the stars not as conquerors, but as examples of what is possible when courage, unity, and hope guide actions. Remember this lesson." Then the sentinel's form began to fade, its golden eyes closing slowly. The chamber grew quiet. The aliens, once tense and suspicious, now looked at the humans with new respect. Marcus could see awe and even hope in their expressions. When the sentinel finally vanished, Marcus slumped to the ground, exhausted. Lena and Duran helped him up. "You did it," Lena whispered, her voice full of relief. "No," Marcus said quietly. "We did it. All of us." He looked around at the humans. They were bruised, worn, but standing, united, and in that, Marcus felt the truth of what the sentinel had seen. Humanity's greatest power was not technology, or weapons, or numbers, but the spirit to rise when all seemed lost. The alien council spoke next. The tall, glowing-eyed figure that had guided much of the judgment stepped forward. Its voice was deep, resonant. "You are reckless, humans. You are chaotic. You are unpredictable. And yet you have shown what few races ever have: courage and empathy beyond self-interest. There may be hope in your kind, and perhaps the galaxy is not yet doomed by your presence." Kirath hissed quietly, its insect-like limbs twitching. "Do not mistake this for forgiveness," it said. "Humans can still destroy themselves. Or others." Marcus nodded. He understood. Humanity was not perfect. They had flaws. They would make mistakes, but they had also risen to challenges others thought impossible. Back on Veyros 9, the colonists gathered outside the station. Word of the Sentinel's judgment spread like wildfire, carried through ships, comms, and word of mouth. People came from nearby colonies, from distant worlds, just to see Marcus Hale, the man who had woken the Sentinel and survived its judgment. He did not feel like a hero. He felt small, but he understood the responsibility now resting on humanity's shoulders. They had survived the trial, but only by proving that unity, courage, and hope could shine even in the darkest tests. Earth itself sent messages of congratulations, admiration, and fear. Humanity had shown the galaxy they were not merely survivors, but beings capable of greatness and terrible destruction if misled. Later, Marcus stood alone near the canyon where it all began. The statue had returned to its silent, immobile form. Its glowing veins were gone, its eyes closed. But Marcus could not help feeling its presence still watching, waiting. He touched the stone lightly, remembering the words it had spoken. "You ruined your species," he whispered back, almost as if the statue could hear him. "We might have, but maybe we can still fix it." The canyon wind blew softly across his face. The stars above burned in distant glory. Marcus knew humanity's story was just beginning. They had survived judgment, but the universe was vast and full of tests far greater than any one person could imagine. Yet there was hope, and sometimes hope was all a species needed. In the days that followed, humanity began to rebuild not just their colonies, but their perspective. They understood that survival was not enough. They began sharing technology, cooperating with alien allies, and striving to avoid the mistakes that had nearly doomed them. Marcus watched it all quietly. He had started as a fool who kissed a stone statue in a joke. Now he was a witness to the rebirth of human potential among the stars. The Sentinel might awaken again. Other tests might come. But humanity had proven one thing above all. They were capable of rising even when the odds seemed impossible.